Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special DNA design upgrade kit video showcase and review, that's pretty much exactly what we're going to be doing. So what you can see in front of us is we have DNA Designs upgrade kit for Vector Prime. So this consists of quite a few accessories there. We've got some new swords, we've got some new knee pads, we've got some extra feet, some extra shoulder pads, and as you can see, I'm lucky enough, because I'm daft enough at the same time, to have two of this particular figure. So what I can do, of course, is we can see how they're changing and just how different they are without me having to go back, or perhaps you having to use your memory. So let's get these opened up. Now, as I'm doing this, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to this channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really will help me out. And also to thank ShowZ, because that's where I purchased this from. And as you can see, they got it to me quickly and safely. Right, so there are all the parts. Let me just rest that there for a few seconds because I want to show you this as well. So you get a bonus sword as well if you order from ShowZ, which is what this is. We'll have a look at them in a bit more detail in a second. So I suppose the thing is, let's have a quick look at the instructions. Now, I'm hoping this shouldn't be too difficult. And what the really clever thing about DNA design kits, from what I've learned, and don't get me wrong, I am pretty new to this, is that they do both modes very, very well. So yes, this is the robot mode. This is what they normally do. And then on the back, you can see we've also got the alternate mode. So, of course, I'm going to do both. Now, once again, guys, I am no expert on these. If I get anything wrong, please feel free to let me know in the comments. It's the only way that I'm going to learn. So, yeah, don't be afraid to, etc., etc., as I say, because sometimes I'm only human and sometimes I will get things wrong. But hopefully not with this case. Anyway, so let's bring in fact, I'll keep the other guy, as in the one there. I'm going to keep in robot mode until we change just slightly out of the picture. I'm going to take this here. Now, I say I've done a few, and I've got to confess, there was one kit which wanted me to do some unscrewing, etc., etc., and I don't really like doing that. In fact, I don't do that. Same as I don't toy hacks. I do try and keep them as original as they are. So what I do like is a kit that I can just do, hopefully, with this exactly what I need to, and attach the parts. Now, let's take the toes off these feet, and then let's attach this to the bottom of the sole like this. The reason why I've took the toes off first is because if you try and pop it on, it doesn't fit. You're looking for the hole there, so what you see, it just gets caught. So what you definitely need to do is, it's nice and simple, just slide this off. Yeah, I love things where you're just sliding things off, not unscrewing things, you know, not potentially damaging. I suppose that's the thing. It's potentially damaging thing, and I am a bit of a stickler for things just being, I suppose, as authentic as they can be. That's just me, to be honest. Right, let's have a look what else we got. We've got this, which we can attach. I've got the instructions to the side of me, by the way. We can attach that to the back. That's going to fit in there. If you remember, in fact, there you go. Just to prove it, that is where you would put the cyber key. So this is great. This now means that you can put, in fact, here we go, have a look at this. This is the main sword. Look at the difference in that. That is beautiful. So that would slot down there, but to be honest, I'm going to take it out just for a second because I've got so much more attaching of things to do. So first and foremost, this, let me get these out. Do you know what, I should probably just do that, just tip them all the way out. Now, one thing I've had, as I say, got to be honest, guys, I've had a quick nose at this just before I started. This part is only going to be used for the alternate mode. So I'm just going to move this totally out of the way, and I'm going to bring him front and center. So what we've got here is some forearm covers. These are brilliant. These are just going to pop over there. See, this is what I like, things like that. As I say, where I'm not having to unscrew things. Now we've got the shoulder pads. So these are going to slot over, so these little cutout, sorry, these extra bits are going to fit into that cutout there. So if I slot this over, and that should just fit into position there, you can start to see this guy is really taking some shape now. I love it. It's great. Things like this. I'm very tempted to get the Scorponok for Earthrise, but I've got to confess, I don't think that I would display it, even though it looks good. And I've seen it and it looks good. I'm just not too sure if I would display it. Right, this is a genius idea. And I do have to confess that I do wish they'd have just cut these off, because of course this is Jaxus's mold. In fact, have I put that on the wrong side? Is it supposed to be on the side, or does it tuck around the back? Let me have a quick look on the instructions, no, I have put it on the wrong side, guys. So what it should do, there you go, there is the huge cutout that is going to pop there, so that completely covers up, well, it doesn't cover them up, but it makes it look a little better. Let's be completely honest, it does make it look quite a bit better. Right, so this is going to do the same thing on this side. That's going to tab into there, and by the looks of it, I've just jinxed myself. And what I mean by that is, it says it literally wants me to glue the next parts on. Now, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to do that. I'm hoping that they're going to be able to balance. It says usage of glue is needed, same on the other side. So I'm going to come to that bit absolute last. I'm hoping that they will sort of slot into position. I really am, because I don't like to do things, you know, by half. But as I say, on the same hand, I'm not into doing that, because if I super glue them on, then let's be honest, that's completely done with. Right, which way have they got these? They've got these facing up. This will move around because, of course, when we get into the alternate mode, look how cool that's going to be. So let's get that there. That is folded over. I'm presuming this is going to fit just on there like so. Yes, it is. This is going to fit exactly the same, so let's rotate that there just like so. That is on there. Now I'm going to put the sword in the back where it goes. So what I'm going to do very quickly is, because it doesn't matter, they're going on the front, let's bring in this guy. So this is, again, exactly the same mold. The difference is insane from the back. I mean, it really is. It looks like a completely different figure. It really, really does. Now let's spin these around. And again, it looks so much better. It really, really does. So what have I got to do with these? It says, and I'm hoping that, as I say, I can get away with... Yes, you heard that clip as well. Now, I don't know if it was supposed to do that, but... this one's not going to clip. This one's going to rest. I should still be able to. What on earth did I clip there? I've completely fluked that. Or did I just trap it under there? I'm really paranoid now as well. Oh, no, like both of them clipped under there. Okay, brilliant. Right, so there you go. That's also something else. If you're perhaps already like me, I know there's some people out there like me who perhaps don't want to cause any potential damage to their figures. But there you go. So the difference is crazy, and I'm really glad that I've got the two figures to be able to do this, because sometimes it's quite hard to remember, and I don't want to be using pictures, I suppose, all the time. Let me get one of them. In fact, they're just sealed up. I'll keep them sealed up for now. It's just going to be this, but all one translucent colour. So if we pop this in his hand, if we cross this across there like so, just to give you an idea, that is insanely good. Right, very quickly, let's just move you out of the way. Let's bring you in like so. So these are the big ones. Let me bring her in. She's gonna be tiny now. I know these are all different primes, etc., but I still think that they would also look good. And it's just, I'm preempting any questions, in all honesty, guys. Preempting any questions. I think there's just one more Nova Prime I need to get. Let me just grab that one. So yeah, unfortunately as well, this does not have the kit on. I did move the kit on. As I said, I've got to confess, I am a stickler for just keeping things the way that they should be. But there you go. That is pretty much the last thing I'm going to show you. In fact, no, let me just check this with you guys now. Let me see if it's hindered any of the articulation. I doubt very much it has. The arms will still come all the way up. The movement underneath is fine. The bicep flexion is still there. The rotation in the waist is still there. The legs will kick forward. The knees will bend. It is not hindered. It has not changed anything. All it has done, it's changed aesthetically. So that just means how it looks. It hasn't changed the function. It hasn't changed anything that you need to worry about. I mean, and I'm just completely fluked that it does genuinely say to glue them in place, and you don't, which of course, well, for me, it's great news. It might be for you too, you guys as well. Right, that is the robot mode. Let me just get them both quickly changed. Well, him changed into alternate mode, ready, so we can then, of course, have a look at how it looks and how it's improved in alternate mode. Right then, so we're ready for the alternate mode, and I've got this one transformed already. This one is partially transformed. The transformation process is exactly the same, and I've not included it in the video to keep this main video down, but if you do want to see it, of course, just check out Vector Prime's transformation process. So this is your standard looking Vector Prime. Just a couple of things I need to show you to make you aware of, that this came over here and it did hook on there, but if you remember, we've got this whole huge additional piece there as well, so that's going to be slightly different. That's why I've not gone any further. You can also see that the forearm bits there do not make any bit of difference. Now I am going to quickly show you the instructions because it did say to take a few bits off, and that's exactly what I've done. But there you go, just as a quick jog your memory, that is your standard looking Vector Prime in alternate mode. So let me just move that out of the way. So I'm nearly knock everything over. So here we go. Let me just very quickly show you the instructions as well, just so you can see exactly what I've done. So it told me first and foremost, take the shoulder pads off, done. Take the foot plates off, and done. This is what I'm going to show you now, which is the new connector, which I'm going to show you that there. And again, all of this you're going to see and how it all clips in. And then we're going to reattach the feet. We're going to reattach the bit at the back. Of course, I forgot to mention that. We've pulled that out because for obvious reasons, we need to take the sword out. There's the new bit there, which again, I said is only in this particular mode. And again, I'm going to attach everything else back to it. So they are very clever when they do this. They really are clever. The fact that exactly that, you know, it works multifunctionally. So let's start off with what I would call the easier bit. So this was that gold bit from the first part. That's going to slot into there, and as stupid as it sounds, that makes a huge difference. And I have no idea why there was nothing there originally. Even something as simple as that, you know, just makes a big difference. Right, so let's go with attaching these feet. I'm going to do this before we attach everything else. So the feet are going to go into the side. That's the new bit that we attached, remember. These are the bits that it's telling me to glue on, which I'm not, and they are still holding. So I'm very pleased with that. Right, so guys, that is the new tab that is there. This will come down over the top and it will still fit in there like so. So what we're doing is attaching everything, as I say, exactly as you would have done if it was Vector Prime. I'm missing that now completely, or messing it up, shall we say. Oh, right, so what I've done is I've knocked that. I'm going to keep rolling because, again, if you guys have these same issues as me, you're going to want to know what to do. So I'm going to bring that up there. I'm just probably going to slow this down. Oh, I've knocked that one out now as well. Drag that forward. That's gone over, no problem. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's because the lack of weight, because I've took these off. And I remember these are huge. We're going to fold these out. Oh, these are stiff and scary. But you can see there, this moves around on its own hinge. So let's get that in the middle. Let's do exactly the same here as well. And then, right, let's attach this. Turn that around, attach that to the, yes, so it looks that way. So what I would say for you to do is attach these first before you start thinking of attaching the sides, because as you've seen happen to me, what is that, the third time already? They will just come out. So this hopefully should fit in. I know it's going to need a bit of force, which it did. Right, let's get these attached now so I can see in the back. There we go. I can see that that's just slotted over there. I'm going to hold that in place because I am holding it at an awkward angle. So now I've got that in. Oh, that is popping out. I'm not too sure. I might have got that a bit too close. That is starting to look insane already, which is great. Let me turn it underneath. What we've got now is I need to attach the shoulder pads. So I just need to double check where it's telling me to put them. And this indeed might stabilize the wings out. So yes, where it's telling me now, these, remember we took these off the shoulder. There is a giant tab there as well. That is going to come onto the back part like this. That's fitting there, and that also has fit in there. Whilst I'm here, this was of course where we attached the sword to in the robot mode. That's going to go there, which means you can slot the sword in on the side now like so. Let me just re-clip these down. This just again looks like, in fact I'm going to take the sword out just for now because I just want to do a ship comparison. This is looking like a completely different figure. It looks stunning. I've got that bit there. Let me just get this out of the way. I mean, again, look at the differences. The differences are ridiculous. You can't even see it on screen, hardly. It's really difficult trying to fit it in. It's turned it into a totally different figure. So what it's probably done is turned your standard Voyager class Vector Prime into easily leader, and definitely height-wise, which we saw because I put Optimus Prime up next to him, easily perhaps Commander class. So overall, mine is just popping out of there a couple of times. I do not know why. Again, it could be because I haven't super glued that bit in on the top, but it still looks incredible, and I'm sure you can get the gist of how ridiculous or how much better that has made it. So it also gives it like a bit of an additional landing gear there. That's the bit you can see where I haven't glued it in, nor do I want to, but hopefully this is giving you a bit of an idea of it. As I said, if you wanted to, you can attach this on the side. They do that the same as sort of Hasbro things, just to make sure that you can attach every single thing to it, which I don't necessarily, I do think it's a good idea, but I don't necessarily always want to. But I've hopefully covered everything on there. Oh, let's just knock that. In fact, very quickly, just because I'm saying that, I'm just looking for it right now. I seem to always have the translucent star screen. In fact, I've got to keep a couple here just to prove, as I say, how much bigger it's now got. So that's your standard Seeker. Yeah, it's well bigger than this. So yeah, it's made the figure much bigger. Don't get me wrong, you know, it comes at a cost, it does come at a price, and it's entirely up to you if you want to get it and stick it on, etc. There's no denying. And as I say, I am very much a stickler for keeping things original, but I'm not stupid enough to tell you guys that I don't think that looks better. I do think that looks better. Perhaps the only thing they missed was bringing the Minicon with it. I don't know why they didn't do that, but that's where I'm going to wrap this up, guys. That is let me make sure I get the number right. This is the DNA Design Upgrade Kit DK61, and I think it looks spectacular. Let me know what you think in the comments. Take care.